Hey there, Mr. Reddit here. Welcome back to another episode of r/Entitled Parent Stories. Our first story we'll be reading today. Entitled Mom Demands $1,500 After I Give Her a Puppy. After that, Entitled Dad Wants 1-year-old to Go on a Fast Roller Coaster. And after that, Ma'am, how'd you even get in here? Now for every thumbs up this video gets, one Karen does not get $1,500. But I deserve it. So please smash that like button. And if you're new, subscribe and turn on notifications for new stories from Reddit every single day. Entitled Mom Demands $1,500 After I Give Her a Puppy. So this happened around a month ago. I have 2 golden retrievers and they recently had a puppy. Not one pup, they had 7. And I wrote that because we'll be focusing on this dog. I gave the rest to friends and family members. It's already pretty difficult to look after my 2 dogs, and a third one was driving me crazy. So I decided to give the dog to someone, for free. I asked a couple of friends and family members, and my mom said that she had a friend who was looking for a dog for months now. So I messaged her, and as she said, she would take it. Great! We planned on meeting in a park so the dog would run around and such. When I head there, I see Entitled Mom and her son. I walk up to them with my pup in my arms. They look at the dog. The kid plays with her while we talk. The following is what happened. Entitled Mom to their son. Did you like the dog, honey? The kid nods while he's playing with the dog. Me. Alright, so can I give you some dog food and a leash for giving this puppy a good home? Entitled Mom. That's it? I mean, I looked up what dogs needed to be taken care of, and this is a bit too less, don't you think? Me, confused. Yeah, this is not enough, but I thought you could buy the rest. Normally when you get a dog from a shelter or anything, you gotta get these things with your own money. Entitled Mom. Well, I thought I could get some more things from you since I'm friends with your mom. I looked at the dog products on eBay, and I thought you could give me around $1,500 so we could get the products. Me. What? No, that's not how this works. I have 2 dogs in my house, and I need my money for rent. Entitled Mom says that she doesn't have that much money, so she won't get the dog. And I thought that was it. Then Entitled Mom walks over to their son and tells him that they're not gonna get the dog. The brat started screaming and rolling on the floor. Entitled Mom is angry now and walks over to me. See? You made him cry. If you had just given me the dog, this wouldn't have happened. Me. Are you kidding me? You're the one who asked for $1,500. I'm not gonna give you $1,500 just because you took my dog. Everyone can hear us now. After a while of this, a policeman came and asked what happened. I had the dog in my arms. Entitled Mom. He's trying to steal my dog. He stole her from my son. She pointed at the kid who was still crying. Me. Are you kidding me? I was trying to give this dog to you, but you wanted money for taking her. Me, speaking to the policeman, explaining everything. The cop was confused as there was no proof of our stories until I showed him a picture where my dog was pregnant and another where the puppy was born. He believed me and I left. The woman was screaming at me when I was leaving. I immediately called my mom to tell her everything, and that was that. Edit. Everyone's asking, so I'm just gonna type it here. I gave away the pup to a college friend a few days ago. She's at a good home, and I plan on visiting her every couple of weeks. Speaking of dogs, have you ever had a dog? And if so, what kind? Please let us know. Teacup Chihuahuas for the win. Entitled Dad wants a 1-year-old to go on a fast roller coaster. We've got Entitled Dad, we've got Worker 1 and Worker 2. So for a little backstory, this happened before all the craziness started on my birthday and I went to Fun Haven. It's kind of like Chuck E. Cheese, but in Canada. There's a small roller coaster in there called Crazy 8 that is 4+ and goes super fast in a figure 8, and I decided to go on it. Now to the actual story. I was waiting in line and in front of me was Entitled Dad holding his barely 1-year-old. When it was Entitled Dad's turn to go on this is how the conversation between them went down. Worker 1. Excuse me, sir. How old is your son? Entitled Dad. He's 1-year-old. Worker 1. Sorry, he has to be at least 4 years old to ride this roller coaster. Points to the sign. Entitled Dad. No, I said he's 4 years old. Worker 1. Sir, you can't just change his age. Entitled Dad's kid looks nothing close to 4 anyways. Entitled Dad. Please let me on. Worker 1. Sir, I'm gonna have to ask you to go to a different game or ride that you can do with your kid, as it's not safe for him to go on this ride. Entitled Dad says with impatience. What do you mean? Let me on. He starts trying to get onto the roller coaster. At this point, everyone in line, including myself, is getting impatient. Worker 1. Sir, leave right now or I'm gonna have to call security. Entitled Dad walks away. Forget you. Worker 1. Goodbye, sir. Have a nice day. Entitled Dad. Excuse me? Why are you telling me goodbye and have a nice day? Literally said this word for word, and it was the funniest thing I've ever heard. My friend and I were cracking up, but he wasn't fully English, so maybe he didn't understand sarcasm / being nice to the customer no matter what. Worker 1 ignores Entitled Dad at this point and is letting me and other people on the roller coaster. After a little while, I decide to go on it again, and there's a new worker at the roller coaster, and I was in line for it, and coincidentally, look who's there right in front of me. Entitled Dad. Worker 2. How old is your son? Entitled Dad. 4 years old. Worker 2. Okay, step right ahead. This is where I come in, most likely stopping that kid from getting flown off the roller coaster because of him being way too small and not fitting in the restraint properly. Me. Excuse me, that kid that you let on is only 1. His dad lied about his age. Then I continue to explain what happened before with the other worker. Worker 2. Okay, thanks for letting me know. It wouldn't be my fault if he got hurt though, as he lied about his age. After letting me on the roller coaster, I see her talking in a walkie-talkie, probably calling security and confirming what I said has actually happened with her coworker. Worker 2 walks up to Entitled Dad. Sir, you have to get off this roller coaster as your son is too young to ride it. What the heck do you mean? He's 4 years old. Worker 2. We have security coming right now, so if you don't get off, you will be escorted off the property. No, I don't want to move. Okay, you will be in a second. Entitled Dad. Yeah, sure. Start the roller coaster. Security shows up. The security didn't even have to say a word, and Entitled Dad just bolts out of there. Speaking of roller coasters, have you ever been on a roller coaster? And if so, which one? Please let us know. 6 Flags for the win. Ma'am, how'd you even get in here? It's my first time on here, so bear with me, and I think this fits here. This takes place about 8 or so years ago, but I can tell this story every so often and it's still fresh to me. I worked as a contract IT consultant. Basically, I worked for an IT group that got contracts to help with IT projects that were too large for the in-house IT department. We were the boots on the ground while they continued day-to-day operations. Most of the time, we worked with a library in a major city that had multiple locations. They would send 1 or 2 of their in-house techs with us to let us in the locations, branches, to show us where stuff was and what was being upgraded or replaced, then let us have at it. I should note that the in-house techs only work on the computers and not for any of the branches themselves, thus they can't check out books or anything else for people. About halfway through this one project, we're going to a branch that was under construction. The outside was being completely redone, with scaffolding and tools all over the place. It was surrounded by a chain link fencing and several barriers of rope / construction tape to allow workers in but keep the general public out, along with lots of signs posting "Caution Construction." The inside of the building had been painted recently, so there were no tables, no chairs, and the bookshelves were completely empty with thin clear plastic painter's tarps over them. Not a book, computer, or DVD in sight. This will come into play in a bit. We've got me. We've got Craig, the in-house tech. We've got Fred, the construction crew foreman, and the old bat. Early in the morning, Craig and our 5 techs, including me, showed up at the branch before the construction crews got there. We met outside, then we all went into the building together. Craig had an odd look when we all walked in. To our surprise, there were no computers or furniture to be seen anywhere in the building. Craig, not wanting to tell us to go home, contacted his boss by phone, who said to wait. Maybe they would show up in an hour or so, as sometimes deliveries were late. Plus, if they sent us home, they would have to reschedule this branch and pay us for another day's work to come back. So we waited. Then Fred, the foreman, showed up, vest, hard hat, and all, along with his crew. Fred talked to Craig, saying he told the library contact that the furniture wasn't finished yet and maybe it would be done by today, but he'd get a couple guys right on it. Another call to the boss. Wait some more, maybe they'll be quick. Okay, but still no computers. While Craig is on the phone and before Fred walks off, Fred. Let Craig and your guys know. If you need to leave, let me know. I'll get hard hats for you, so you can go out through the side, since it's the only way in or out. Me. Okay, cool. Thanks, Fred. If a delivery truck gets here, it might be our computers. Let us know. If those get here, then we might need them. Fred with a friendly smile. Yep, no problem. After a couple hours of just us twiddling our thumbs waiting for the furniture and computers, Craig and I were talking about video games, as guys do, and he stops mid-sentence and looks to his left with a face stranger than this morning's grimace. I'm sure mine wasn't any better. This little old lady had walked right through the open front doors of the building, walking past all of the workers outside like they weren't even there. I'd have thought she just came from church with the way she was dressed. Dark cotton open front sweater with a white undershirt and shin-length skirt with her gray hair all done up. I'm sure both Craig and me had the same thought of, what the heck? We both walk up to her. Conversation as follows. Craig, ma'am, can I help you? Old Dad, gruffly, yes, I just want a DVD, pointing to the back of the room at an empty bookshelf. Craig, ma'am, there's nothing back there. This library branch is closed. Old Dad, oh, it's fine. I just want a DVD. They're right back there, pointing again. Craig, ma'am, the shelves are empty. Look around. There's nothing here. Well, you work here, pointing a crooked finger and slightly poking at his ID badge on a lanyard that has the library logo on it. So, show me where they're at. Craig, ma'am, we are IT. We don't work at this branch. We only work on the computers. And this is a general employee badge. Even the administrators have them. See, you do work here. I want a DVD. Craig, frankly, none of us work here, ma'am. There aren't even any computers here to check you out. Look, as he gestures to the empty space where the checkout would normally be. There's no furniture, no staff. Didn't you read the multiple signs on the way in? This branch is closed, ma'am. You need to leave. I know they are back there. I just want a DVD. They're right over there. Points to the empty shelves again and starts to walk in that direction. Craig puts his arm out to block her path. Me, how'd you even get in here, ma'am? There's a construction site out front. There are times when I have perfect timing, as this is the same moment when Fred comes strolling by and waves at us, stops, and then looks at the old lady. I should mention, Fred is about average height, but built with thick cable-like arms. Not bulging muscles, but looks like he could carry 250 pounds of anything without worry and could intimidate just about anyone if he needed to. Fred to Craig, is she with you? Craig, no, she just walked in from the street. Old lady, I just want a DVD. I know right where they are. I've been here before. Craig, not in a while you haven't. This branch has been closed for 3 months. Fred, in a stern voice, ma'am, how'd you get in here? This is an active construction site. You had to pass by at least 2 or 3 of our roped and taped off areas that boldly say, do not cross. Did you just waltz past all of them? You can't be here. I just want a DVD, and I know they're here. Fred, first off, this building is closed and under construction. Second, no, they don't have any DVDs here. They're all out today. Please follow me, ma'am. She looks like she wants to say more, but Fred puts out his hand towards the door and starts to walk her out. He then grabs a nearby hard hat and puts it on her. Don't put that on me. I just had my hair done. Fred puts it on her anyway and walks her out to the street. They walked off the site the way that she had come in. They passed by the barriers that looked partially taken down or just knocked over. Fred's face went from stern to sour in about half a second when he saw them. By the time they walked out the building doors, I couldn't hear the conversation Fred and her were having, but the large windows on that side of the building gave me a prime view of the entire chain of events. The lady and Fred started having a long and argumentative conversation just outside the chain fence. They were apparently loud enough that the cops from the precinct across the street came over to see what was the matter. She was yelling and pointing at Fred, the building, and then at the cops. Fred looked like he was explaining the situation, pointing to the construction and the multiple "do not cross" tape and signs that she had taken down on her trek in. 5 minutes later, old lady is being walked over to the precinct when she turns around about halfway there and gives Fred the finger. The cop lightly puts his hand on her back and gently but firmly turns her back around and into the precinct. About 30 minutes later, we were sent home. A month later, I saw Craig at another location. He said he found out that old lady was arrested for trespassing and was banned from any library branch for a year. I've said this many times during my tenure as one of their consultants. How do you come to the library and not read the closed signs? They still haven't figured it out. I worked in bars and restaurants for years. During that time, I developed too many pet peeves to count and left the industry with a huge chip on my shoulder and enough trauma that I still have server nightmares years later. I miss liking humans. This is the story of how I served a table very, very badly because they were stupid and jerks, and because I didn't work there. Despite no longer working as a server, I guess I still look like one. I went through a phase where I only owned 1 pair of black Converse, 2 pair of black jeans, and 7 black t-shirts. I called it my Batman wardrobe. It made getting dressed in the morning very easy, but it made walking through a restaurant very difficult. With this outfit in mind, I will absolutely concede that in some restaurant settings, I might have been bringing this on myself. But as common as this outfit is among server staff, it certainly isn't what most servers in most restaurants wear. It's also a very normal outfit to see on the street. Most of the time, if I'm just trying to walk to the bathroom and someone at a table tries to order from me, I'll just quickly let them know I don't work there. But one time, I'm tempted to try and justify this by outlining for you the laundry list of crappy behaviors I had already witnessed from this table. In the interest of saving time, I'll just assure you that this table of 6 absolutely knew who their server was and had absolutely been treating her poorly. They were one of those groups where the first guy orders his beer, and by the time the other 5 finally tell the server their orders, the first guy is already complaining that his beer is taking too long, when the server hasn't even left the table side. Yeah, that actually happens a lot. While returning to my table from the bathroom, one of these winners stops me with a, "Hey, get me a crappy beer, because I'm an amateur with bad taste." I give him a cheerful, "Sure," and proceed toward my table. Quickly, his repulsive girlfriend pipes up with a whiny, "And I want another one of this," gesturing towards some pink sludge in a cup, because of course that's her taste in beverages. I decide to stick around and let the whole table place orders with me before returning to my table and waiting for them to notice me sitting there with my friends. I really didn't think this would go on long. I'm seated in plain sight about 2 tables away. They don't notice. Their server is tableside again within moments, and their round is promptly ordered again, since they're definitely the type to double order items from different staff, so my prank goes unnoticed. Later, I go to visit the bartender, have a brief chat, and grab a couple drinks. I'm walking back to my table with 2 beers in hand. "Is that mine?" a voice asks as he reaches to snatch it. "Nope," I reply and carry on. My actions had the potential to make life harder for the staff, and I'd feel bad about it if I wasn't friends with all of them and if they hadn't been in on it. This table is so badly behaved and have been determined to have a bad time since before they arrived. They're really a lost cause. Any attempt to clear things up for them wouldn't be worth missing out on the entertainment of messing with them. So I start looking for excuses to innocently walk past their table. I take a few more bathroom visits than I really need and go visit my friend at the bar a couple more times. I never initiate contact with these clowns, but if they take the bait, I'll take the order. They're becoming increasingly agitated with each encounter. They tell me how bad I am at my job, and I just cheerfully correct them. No, I'm actually really good at my job. They're more infuriated at how unfazed I am at what they're saying to me and the several drink orders I've failed to bring them. Remember, my friends and I have been seated in plain sight a few feet away drinking and laughing it up all night. Anyhow, they drink 3 rounds despite having ordered about 9 and decide to leave. Naturally, when their bill arrives, they try to contest it, arguing that, "We didn't actually get most of the drinks we ordered, so they shouldn't be on the bill." The manager informs them that the bill represents only the drinks they did receive. They try to argue the point, and I just can't stand to watch my prank escalate too far, so I pipe up. "Your bill represents the drinks you ordered from your server." I don't even have to say it that loudly since I am seated so close to them. They all turn to look at me, and I want to say they realize what's going on, but that's giving them too much credit, since one of them immediately lays in with the threats to call my boss. I offer them my boss's phone number and dare him to try and get a jeweler to fire their assistant for being bad at table service. He then tries to accuse me of putting items on his bill that shouldn't be there. You know, with the access card I use to log into the POS at the restaurant where I am a customer. He still hasn't figured it out. Edit. Don't worry, these people wouldn't have tipped well anyway, and my table more than made up for it. Speaking of restaurants, what's your favorite restaurant to go to of all time? Please let us know. I could really go for some Chili's right now. Do they still have that 2 for $20 deal? Karen decides that she can just pick my plants out of my garden. A while back in March, I made a post about how some entitled parents let their kids play in my cactus garden. I thought that would be my only garden-related incident, but lo and behold, apparently people think our fenced-in garden is land they can just do whatever they want on. Our block has many houses on it, and they all have iron black fences that are around 5 to 6 feet high with gates. Behind each fence, most people have some plants or a little garden or a tree. You get the idea. It's clear that these belong to each of the respective houses, as most people will also put their garbage cans or other stuff out there as well. In front of my family's house, we have a small cactus garden, and then we have some tall planters with some succulents in them, and then we have a little vegetable garden with some tomatoes, basil, etc. My grandmother is really into plants, and it gives her something to do. The two tall plants with the succulents are closest to the fence, so someone could stick their hand in and take plants out if they wanted to. I'm walking home, and I see a woman sticking her hand through the fence. I think she's taking our tomatoes, so I speed walk up to her and ask what she's doing. Me: "Hi, this is my garden. What are you doing? I'd appreciate it if you didn't take things out of my garden." Lady: "Oh, hi. You have a lovely garden. I'm not damaging anything. I'm just taking some of these hen and chicks." It's a succulent. "And then some of these plants." I look, and while she did take some succulents, she also just picked weeds out of our garden. Me: "I'd appreciate it if you gave those succulents back. They're our plants, but you realize you just took weeds out too, right?" Lady: "Oh, I took some pictures of these for my photography class, and everyone loved the pictures, so I thought I'd take some." Me: I guess you can have the weeds, but I'd like my other plants back." Okay, goodbye." She just kinda got flustered and left after that. I did get my succulents back then. She was more embarrassed about taking weeds than stealing plants out of my garden. And this whole photography class thing was really weird to me. But whatever, she can keep the random weeds. Weirdest experience ever, and I'll never get how people think they can just stick their hands into someone else's garden and take their stuff. Edit: after reading through all your comments, man, I had no idea there were this many plant thieves or plant damagers. Sorry to everyone that's had this happen to them as well. Am I the jerk for not letting a woman sit next to me because she had her baby with her? I'm 25, male. Not usually for these kinds of trips, especially right now, but it was a family emergency. I purchased a bus ticket and took a 6-hour ride to the city my mom lives in for a few days, and I needed to get back home for work. I purchased a bus ticket again, but going back home. This time around, I decided to also purchase the seat next to me because I didn't want any strangers sitting so close to me for obvious reasons. Also because I wanted to have extra room to put my backpack and do some homework on my laptop. Today, I had to turn in an assignment before deadline, and I decided I'd work on it during the bus trip and submit it before I got home. When everyone else was getting on, this lady came up to me and asked if I could move my stuff. I thought maybe she mixed up her seat number and told her I purchased both these seats for myself, and she goes, "I know, but my husband is sitting right here, and we'd like to sit together if you don't mind." Her husband was right across from me, so they would only be a few inches apart since I'm sitting by the window and she'd be in the aisle seat. I saw her holding a baby, no less than a year old, I'm guessing, and my brain automatically went, nope. I was not about to deal with a screaming baby glued right next to me the whole 6 hours back home. I told her I'm sorry, but I need the space to do some work, and I already purchased this seat. She kept asking me because their seats were all the way at the front, and she won't be close to her husband. Again, I repeated my reasons, and she got mad and brought the driver in on this. He politely asked if I would consider allowing her to sit there, and again, I said no. Well, he looked at her like there's nothing else he can do, so she walked away all upset. An hour later, all you hear is her baby screaming his head off, nowhere near me, which I was grateful for. But her husband still kept throwing me dirty looks the whole ride, which I tried to ignore by focusing on my work. A few times, she walked to the back to go to the bathroom, and she'd glare at me. When we got off again, they were giving me dirty looks, and she asked me was it really all necessary to be a jerk over a seat when she needed her husband's help with the baby. I told her I was sorry, but yes, it was necessary. I'm home already, but I still keep thinking about it. Was I the jerk for not letting her sit there? Well, what do you think? Was OP a jerk for this or not? Please let us know. No, but her and her husband most definitely are. Sorry, I have to speak with the account holder. Another post on here reminded me of this story that actually happened to my sister. We'll call her Amanda. A few years ago, there was a big sporting event my family all wanted to get together and watch. We decided to all get together at my sister's house to watch it. She needed to upgrade her TV package to include more sports channels, which she was able to do online. Great! We had a great day, watched the big event, and ate and drank far too much. The issue started when my sister went to cancel the subscription, so as to not keep paying the higher rate for future months. Apparently, while you can upgrade your package and give the company more money online, Removing the package was much more difficult, of course. They said the only way to cancel the package was over the phone. My sister is deaf. So, needless to say, this was an issue. My sister had been emailing and complaining to no avail. At the time this happened, my brother was temporarily staying with my sister, and he called the company for her. The exchange apparently went like this. I'm relaying what my sister and brother told me. Brother: Hi, I need to cancel the subscription to Extra Sports for Amanda's second name. Lady: I will need to speak with Amanda. Brother: My sister is deaf. She can't speak with you over the phone. Lady: There's nothing I can do. I have to speak with the account holder if you want to cancel your subscription. Brother: You need to speak with a deaf person on the phone? Yes. And you don't see anything wrong with your current system? All changes have to be done by the account holder. Brother: Yes, exactly. And the only reason this was set up was because she was able to make changes online. You're saying she can't reverse the changes? All I can tell you is I have to speak with Amanda. At this point, my brother was telling my sister what was being said, and they come up with the perfect solution. Brother: Okay, 1 second. This is Amanda. My brother continued speaking, and it's worth noting he has quite a deep, husky voice. The lady doesn't say anything. Brother: I need to cancel my sports subscription. I think you're the person I was just speaking to. No, I'm Amanda. You said you needed to speak with me. I thought you were deaf. And yet you insisted on speaking with me on the phone? So here I am. Please cancel my subscription. I have all the information you need to verify my identity. The subscription got canceled. Would I be the jerk if I reported my daughter's teacher for not pronouncing her name correctly? My daughter's English teacher refuses to pronounce her name correctly. She has a Japanese name and we live in Japan. Her name is Kanae, pronounced Kanae. Recently, Kanae told me that her English teacher, an expat from America, at school calls her Kanae. She told me that she told the teacher, my name is Kanae. It's 3 claps, syllables. But the English teacher told Kanae that she was incorrect and that grammatically speaking that she, her teacher, was correct. During my daughter's sports day, I confronted the teacher. I explained that my daughter would like to be called Kanae, but she laughed and said she was pronouncing it the way it's supposed to be, but will try her best to remember. Today, my daughter told me the teacher still calls her Kanae. My daughter is very shy, and it took a lot of effort for her to correct her teacher the first time. I'm considering going to the school in the morning, but is that an overreaction? For some clarity, I'm not Japanese. My wife is, so our kids are mixed race. Our kids are fluent in English and Japanese. Not like Kanye West, but Ka plus Nye like Bill Nye. Oh wow, I wrote this late at night and went to sleep. I didn't expect it to get this much attention. Thank you for all of the responses. I can't reply to them all. But this morning, we couldn't go. Son had an earache. But we are going there after school ends. We asked our daughter if she wanted us to tell. She said that she didn't care. We don't want the teacher fired. We just want our daughter respected in her classroom. Update: I'm not sure where else to place it. But my wife and I went to this school today around 3:45 p.m. By then, the English teacher in question had gone home. We told the principal everything that I've told you all, and he was extremely apologetic. He did say that maybe it was a language barrier, but I reminded him that my daughter and I both told the teacher in English how to pronounce Kanae. So then the principal called her dispatch company, Interac it turns out. The same thing happened. The company apologized but tried to pass it off as a language barrier thing. More apologies were issued when we told them we spoke English. We were told that Interac would speak to the teacher and that they would handle it. The principal asked us to come to the school Monday morning. I'm hoping to talk to the teacher face-to-face on that day. You shut down my credit card. I work at a clothing store in a mall. Entitled customers don't frequent us, but unfortunately, that doesn't mean they never come. I had the displeasure of dealing with this wonderful lady a while back during the holidays. I do want to note, we do not have a store credit card. We've got the crazy lady. We've got our first manager and our second manager. I was in the front of the store when this lady walks in. Remember the cool mom from Mean Girls? That should give you an image of what she looked like, except she was on her phone. I welcome her in, and she just stares daggers at me, then storms off to my coworker. I need to speak to a big manager, like a general manager or district manager, someone in charge. Manager 1. Our general manager is on break, but I'm an assistant manager. What can I help you with? Lady. Now you hesitated, which leads me to believe you're not a manager. No, I need your real manager. Manager 2 walks over. Yes, ma'am. Is there anything I can do for you? You shut down my credit card. Manager 2. I'm sorry. I'm not sure how we could have done that. Do you know what a fraudulent transaction is? Because when I inserted my card into your point-of-sale terminal, your point-of-sale machine read it as a fraudulent transaction and caused my credit card to be canceled. Manager 2. I don't think that I know what a fraudulent transaction is. I have a degree in technology. Do you have a degree in technology? I didn't think so. That's probably why you work in retail. Manager. Can you settle down, please? I will not settle down. You shut down my credit card. While she yells at my manager, she's also on the phone with her bank. Her bank asks her to validate her information, which the lady replies with, I will not give you any of my information. That is mine and mine only, not yours. I get moved to the back of the store and miss the rest of Crazy Lady's tirade. Another customer told me that she claimed we embarrassed her in front of everyone in the store, and that she exclaimed that she would be filing a formal complaint with corporate. I did hear her shout, I won't be here ever again, as she left, but she did come back when we allegedly sold her the wrong size. Please come watch this video next, you will love it. And join as a channel member today and we'll give you a special shout out in our next video. And to have us make any kind of video you can think of, just come visit us on Fiverr, link pinned in the comments below.